that service, and therefore it is between the supplier and the person who is the purveyor of that particular service. But I am mentioning this deliberately so that if it is indeed perceived as a serious threat to the growth of TV industry, and what our minister has referred to as somewhat corrosive discourse on the TV screens, I think some amount of thinking would have to be done about it, and some decisions taken in very, very short term and quickly. I am quite aware of the disappointment that the film industry has actually articulated after the budget speech of the finance minister. It is true that in terms of tax structure, the film industry actually feels, and perhaps rightly so, that it hasn't got a good or a fair deal. My ministry is with the film industry. But the issue is that how do we go beyond, these discussions? I have two suggestions to offer. One is to, and it has been said also, that the film industry and entertainment industry is to be seen as a very serious economic segment of the country. So it is not merely, the glamour and glitch, as Mr. Uday Shankar had put in his speech, but it is a serious provider of employment and a great contributor to the GDP. Now, if that is correct, I think we need to really build up this case more seriously and more extensively. Secondly, the regime of general goods and services tax, which is going to come into existence. It was to come into existence a year ago. It will take maybe a little while. It's highly contentious. But I do believe that it is the time when industry and the ministry can work together to really make sure that the apprehensions and kind of a not so fair deal which we have got so far for the film industry, those issues are addressed right away. So that when we have a new GST regime, at least some of these issues are really addressed. What I'm offering is that we are willing to work with the film industry to really deliberate upon it and see how we can build up a very, very strong case for a fair deal to film industry when the new GST regime comes into existence. As far as the 100 years of Indian cinema is concerned, I think this initiative the ministry has taken has been talked about. We now give away the National Film Awards every year on 3rd of May to commemorate 100 years of Indian cinema, and also to really pay a tribute to Dada Saheb Phalke, who released this film on 3rd of May. The National Museum on Cinema, one part of the National Museum is almost about to be ready, and we hope to dedicate to the nation in the next few months. We have launched a National Film Heritage Mission. A formal launching would also take place for this, which actually would make sure that the filmic heritage is conserved, preserved, if it has to be digitalized, and restoration. All these aspects of conservation of filmic heritage takes place with adequate resources to make sure that nothing is lost for the posterity. And lastly, a mechanism to facilitate shooting in India by creating a board, a film shooting, film promotion and facilitation board, so that people get one window to really go apply for the permission, and this mechanism actually takes care of the multiple permissions that are required by the producer. This is not only for the producers from outside the country, but also who want to really do it from within. That is also for the domestic producers. On the FM radio, we had the meeting of the empowered group of ministers. There are some glitches because of a TRI recommendation which said that we could perhaps have more channels, FM channels in a town by reducing the spectrum requirement or the interspacing requirement from 800 kilohertz to 400 kilohertz. But that had actually created a bit of a problem, but that has been resolved. We have, the EGOM has decided that we'll go ahead with auctioning of 839 new FM channels in 295 cities. So it is my hope, and I'm quite sure it will happen, that in next year or so we should be able to have close to 839 additional FM channels across the country. This would be another game changer for broadcasting industry. Imagine, you know, these roughly 224 channels, private FM channels that we have today, they have brought about a lot of difference. And I think you can imagine the kind of impact it will have on the radio industry once these close to 800 channels are put into operation. I think this is going to completely transform the radio industry in the country. I will now like to conclude. And when I was listening to other speakers and following the proceedings of the FICCI frames the last 3 days, I heard things like talking about having 1,000 crore blockbuster, or having films like Life of Pi or Slumdog Millionaire being produced in India. I think this, and the KPMG report talking about a very, very encouraging kind of a growth scenario for this sector in next year, in next year, and next 5 years. I think perhaps this is the right opportunity to talk about this idea, and I have been talking about this. And thought is to make India the digital hub of the world, not only in terms of hardware like teleports, but also in terms of production hub, a digital production hub. I think the task is difficult, but I have no doubt in my mind that it is neither impossible nor improbable. The only thing is that we'll have to align our efforts, align our thinking, and align our endeavor. And I think if the government industry are able to do that, we should be able to do this. Lots of people say that's a very risky proposition and the risks involved in this whole operation. I suppose the whole film industry is considered to be a very, very risky proposition. But I think risks must be taken. And you must permit me to conclude my address or this with a poem which I find personally very stimulating, very inspiring, but also perhaps very relevant. And this poem is entitled, Only a Person Who Risks is Free. I'm very fond of this, and I like to really talk about it to others. Permit me to read out this poem. Only a person who risks is free. To laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach for another is to risk involvement. To expose your ideas, your dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. Actually, lots of people don't talk about our ideas because they think that somebody will steal that idea. So to expose your ideas, your dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To believe is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The people who risk nothing, do nothing, have nothing, are nothing. The people who risk nothing, do nothing, have nothing, are nothing. They may avoid suffering and sorrow, but they cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love, live. Chained by their attitudes, they are slaves. They have forfeited their freedom. Only a person who risks is free. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kamal Hassan has to leave for the airport because he's getting late for a flight. So. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Verma. As usual, very thoughtful, very poised, and very persuasive. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing all this. As I said, this year's frames in particular would have been incomplete without your presence, considering this year the biggest story in media and entertainment has been what you've scripted by way of digitization. So thank you for coming here. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the conclusion of this 3-day mega session of frames. I couldn't be more delighted, as Karan was saying earlier, that exhausting as it is indeed very satisfying that we have managed to put together a show of the kind that it is. And it wouldn't have been possible without all of you here who made it possible for you, who made sure that you took time away from your work and came here and patiently participated, heard, and contributed. But before I talk more about it, I have to make a very special announcement that we have amongst us who's been sitting patiently and listening to the whole deliberation here today, the Honorable Minister of Information of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Mr. Hassanul Haq Inu, and I would like you to thank you, sir. Thank you for being here, and thank you for participating in our frames. It gives us a lot of heart and courage to us. I would also like to thank the head of FICCI East, the FICCI Media and Entertainment Committee East, Mr. Prasenjit Chatterjee, who made it possible and who persuaded Honorable Minister to come here. Thank you, Prasenjit. We can all count on your effort, and because of which FICCI is such a strong voice in East. Thank you. I would also like to thank all the speakers and participants for taking the time and effort to participate in Frames this year. And you shared your ideas, you've not held back, you've created very stirring debates and left a lot of food for thought. Thank you once again, and we hope to benefit from you in future as well. The team at FICCI has done a phenomenal job. None of us perhaps spare a thought for how much it takes to put together a show like that goes on for 3 days, where so many sessions happen. The work for FICCI begins FICCI Frames begins right after the conclusion of this year's Frames, and they have been at it. Karan and I have generally been taking the credit for all the work that Leena and her splendid team have put together. So my personal request is to give a round of applause to them. I have no doubt in my mind that the big task that we have set before ourselves, one of engaging with 1 billion consumers and its concrete manifestation as far as the film industry is concerned, that is producing a 1,000 crore blockbuster, we are already on our way there. As you saw, that it was a very bold, it was a very ambitious idea, but I'm most heartened to note that nobody here thinks that it is not achievable. All of us think that it requires us to put our heads together and get in that direction, but it's truly achievable. So hopefully in very near future, we shall be rejoicing the creation of a 1,000 crore blockbuster by the Indian film industry. In the last 3 days, I'm sure there has been more clarity on that, and for that, I am very satisfied that FICCI Frames has played a role in that. One of the recurring themes in all our discussions has been the importance of supportive regulatory framework. And while there may be views on what exactly is the priority of these or the order of that regulatory framework, we all feel the need for it. And part of the gaps in the regulatory framework also arise from the fact that we do not have we don't present a very thought-through cogent case supported by ideas and argument. And I think Mr. Uday Kumar Verma mentioned that in his speech. And to that extent, I'm very happy to announce that the FICCI has decided to set up a Center for Regulatory Excellence in collaboration with the industry. The center has been envisioned as an independent think tank with the objective of setting benchmarks for regulatory excellence across various industries. So it will not be just for media and entertainment, but for the entire Indian corporate sector. However, I do think that the Center for Regulatory Excellence, because of the inputs provided by all of us, will focus particularly on media and entertainment sector. It will also act as a facilitator in aligning corporate India's objectives with that of the goals of the government and the policy establishment. I look forward to your active support and encouragement in making the Center for Regulatory Excellence a credible and relevant voice for the industry. Before I conclude, I have to thank my friend Karan Johar. When we were given this task of organizing FICCI Frames this year, my heart was quaking with fear. Karan, you made it possible, and without throwing any of these star tantrums. Please continue to be this way. You're a delight to work with, Karan. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll continue to interact and engage with all of you in the course of the next year. One of the objectives that we have is to interact far more actively through the year, where FICCI Frames becomes the culmination of that round-the-year engagement. And until we meet and engage again, thank you very much. Thank you.